now to you all. I'm live streaming to YouTube and also to Twitter. And I'm looking forward to showing you this piece really quick. I always begin with the end in mind to a degree, right? So when you go to my Twitter profile and you click on my Twitter profile, you'll see I'm live streaming right now. So what you're also going to see is the most profitable companies by sector. So this is one of my favorite metaverse officers, Sharad. And so Sharad, I follow some of the stuff that he puts together and it makes sense. So Apple Vision Pro will accelerate mass adoption of the metaverse. The metaverse conversation, I think of AI and the metaverse, but I also think of the automation. Okay, so I want to tie this together for a quick second before we get too far, right? And it's about the money. I want y'all to see the money. Like, so Apple is the most profitable company in the United States. Okay. When we start to talk through profit, when we start to talk about top line and sales, right? Right. So Apple, so Apple's entry, and this is a whole like story, right? And Apple is the most profitable. About 10% of Apple's revenue will come from Vision Pro. So wait a minute, they're allocating a major, this is a huge, right? This new business. So that's 10% lift. Okay. So they're already forecasting they're going to make money from it. So they're going into this and it's going to continue to develop out. So developers, like this is a huge indicator to me. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all, they're banking on it. So if their revenue is 1 trillion and you add 10% of what so 10% is being forecasted as a part of top line, right? So how sales are going to take place and happen. So Hector, your mic is hot. Okay. Yeah, okay, it's fine. All right. So, and take a look at all this, right? And mainstream adoption, right? So, mainstream adoption, and we're talking about artificial intelligence, but I want you all to see the money. I want you to see, and I don't know if it's easier to see it, but most profitable companies by sector here in the United States. So, in my head, from a forecast, I'm saying, most profitable companies, but they still need more money to give back to their stakeholders. So this is what big business is doing, right? So I'm looking at big business playbook. They're already saying we see this as profitability, this area, this technology. So for Apple, this is a $99.8 billion. What is that? They're up 5.4%. And that's that profit change, right? 5% profit? Whew, my goodness. I remember when you can get 3% and that was something. Whoa, that's huge. Look at a lot of these companies' profitability have been growing. I wonder what they're doing. JP Morgan Chase? Look at this. So what I'm pointing out right now to you all is there's indicators. Understand your numbers, understand forecasts. I look at indicators to see what big business is doing as an indicator for little business. Even though I have my own mind, I'm able to say, here's an opportunity. Here's an opportunity to, I see partnerships. When I throw that up, I see partnerships. They're interested. They have a division. They have some money allocated to this sector that's emerging, right? So that's simple. How do we get in? How do we start working with them? How do we network with them? Because we know that they're a part of this digital transformation. I'm going to go over to Mr. G, and then I'm going to head over to Kay.
Thank you. Good morning. I just wanted to share a couple of things before I forgot. For the Genius Room, I was pulled into the Twitter side chain called Clubhouse that I thought was really interesting. So I just wanted to dive a little deeper at a later date on Clubhouse. And then yesterday I was looking at Claudia 2, the newest AI that I've learned about. And so I just wanted to share that one also. But as you mentioned, Apple, I also wanted to mention some of the cream of the crop. Meta, I'm putting some more, buying some more stock in Meta, buying some more Amazon, looking at the companies that are the cream of the cream. So they're not recommending mutual funds or ETFs as much as they used to, because they really think that the leaders, talking about banks, for example, JP Morgan is just the one you want to own as opposed to a whole a whole basket of bank stocks. So I just wanted to share that. Claudia and Clubhouse or Claudia 2 rather, is the AI for the Genius Room.
Thank you, Mr. G. You always be on it. Hey there, Jesus. Absolutely. This is good. Did y'all hear it? So, Mr. G, your mind operates similar to mine. I teach my kids this too. My kids they always want to go buy Robux. Oh, mom, I need Robux. Well, now Meta has Roblox that's coming, right? So, yeah, Meta has Roblox coming. So they have a partnership they just announced over the last day or two, right? Okay, nice move, Meta. Nice move. Because I get tired of these Robux. If y'all don't know Robux yet, you need to know Robux. My kids don't want anything but, can I get more Robux? Mom, I need $100 for Robux. What you need? Well, I need to hyperloop onto my planet. Yep, pay attention to Roblox, that metaverse, and that's where a lot of kids and adults actually entertain and play. And they have really a good use case. God, I'm looking at it like dropping in architectural blueprints and designs from company. Okay, let me be quiet. Yes, that's a good one. I like it. But what he's basically saying is you're investing where your time is, right? Thank you, Mr. G, for that. Appreciate that. That's cool. Good alpha. Let's go over to, I think it's Kay. Hey, Kay.
Yeah, oh my gosh. So I had Clubhouse, I had YouTube streaming, and then I had Roblox. Okay, so we talking about money here. So can you build a business? Yes, you can if you can freaking work for that shit, if you can earn that shit type shit. Yeah. Yes, but yeah, everything. Where do you be? How do you be streaming on YouTube? Like, I checked out your website. It wasn't really loading on my freaking burner phone. But like, how do you be? How do you be monetizing the freaking platforms?
I have Stripe and I have independent pages, right? So I send out my product pages through my Stripe. Independent. I also have a shop on Facebook. I also have a shop on Shopify.
Testing. I see. Okay, so Shopify, what's that about?
Yeah, so commerce. So one of the technology advances that I forecast seeing is that retail is a big deal already. Retail, institutional investors, and if you, long story, retail is huge. So when you start to look at retail, how brick and mortar, so you have to pay attention to traffic and just, when's the last time you went into a store physically? If most of us scratching our head like, well, I don't really go to the stores anymore. I mean, I can tell you Prime Day was yesterday and the day before. I can tell you, all right. So we know there's a mass exodus of people going to brick and mortars, right? So we know that already. So, but we know that retail is, when you start to look at year over year comps and you start to watch those numbers, you understand there's still growth there. So because there's still growth there, you're saying retail is getting up. Wait a minute, we went to e-commerce. So let's go back to Web 2. Whoop, we went to e-commerce. So that allowed for us to have the ability to sell online. So now you're going into an omni-channel opportunity when you're bringing in these digital immersive environments and you're introducing yourself to a new customer base just because your brand that's recognized is also in another metaverse. If your brand isn't recognized, then certainly you got to do some work there to get it recognized. And you work with a coach. I'm a coach. I'm a mentor and I'm a business partner. So what we do is we work on what matters most to you, and then we help you to architecturally design the success path, and you go, and you become very successful at your goals. That's what I am: a coach, a mentor, and a business partner.
Wow. Did everyone hear that? Jeez, business partner. That's what I'm trying to be.
Oh, listen to that. That's fantastic, my friend. And you're here. We're your new community. So it's a pleasure to have you here. Jesus, how you been?
Morning, Yaeunda, Hector, Peg, Mr. G, Hunter, everybody else who's in this space, as well as anybody who's gonna listen to us on the replay. Good morning. I'm doing well. Yaeunda, you know me. You know I love talking about building businesses and the actual integration of new technology within the business infrastructure, because it facilitates things within the business. It streamlines processes. It makes things faster, less expensive. It can provide a better customer experience. So, build a business. Anybody can build a business. It just really depends on, have you taken the time to actually research that industry? Are you passionate about it? Because it's going to be difficult. It's not just going to be given to you. Like, are you willing to put in the work? It's more than, you have to try really, really hard. Like, yeah, no, obviously you have to try hard, but you also have to put a lot of mental work into it, because you have to research the legalities behind that industry. You have to research whether or not you need some type of special licensing to be able to operate in that industry. You might need multiple licenses, because different states or different countries have different laws regarding on what you need to operate in their vicinity, right? So, like for me, I always say, try to build something that's around your passion, because at the worst case scenario, like, this is something that you're gonna want to be doing for the rest of your life. Like, the way that I see it is, the second that you stop growing is the second that you start dying and decaying. And it's why, in my personal opinion, there's a lot of older generational people that have a lot of mental, I don't want to say instability, but we're talking about like Alzheimer's and dementia. And like, for me, it has a lot to do with, are they staying active, or are they, when people retire and stop using their brain the way that they used to, it starts to decay, starts to lose traction. And for me, there's a really big correlation with that, right? So if you're going to build something, or if you want to build something, try to do it around something you're passionate about, just because at the bare minimum is going to allow you to keep on building what you're building until the day you're gone. And you should want to build something that's going to outlive you. But I'll end on that.
Wow, that was wonderful, Jesus. Always dropping the nuggets on business, right? And helping our members understand business at a whole nother level, because it might look easy on the outside, but there's levels to it. So I really do appreciate the activation of the Genius Room to have, we want to do business together. So Mr. G's created, and thank you very much, Mr. G has created the form. So we're activating. So if you don't have a copy of that form, we posted it yesterday. It's available. Mr. G had it on his post. So feel free if you want to do business with the Genius Room, because we have work to get done. We're coaches. So I would just want to point you to the screen again, because what Jesus just commented on, right, and talked about the business of it. I started with the numbers. The companies I showed you were billion-dollar companies for profitability. Okay, billion-dollar companies for profitability. So now here's Sherrod. He's always just on it. He's like, y'all, look at here. So generative AI. could unlock 23.5 billion in annual economic growth across the GCC by 2030. Strategy and the Middle East. What? So, y'all, it's not a matter of can I make money here? Can I have a business here? It's about how are you building? How are you forecasting for that success? How are you forecasting for it, right? So that you're able to say, okay, yep, I'm doing this. This is going to be my swim lane. This is where I'm going to be focused. This is where I'm putting my head down. And this is how much money I'm going to generate in the next 30 days, in the next 6 months, in the next year. And if you don't have an AI strategy or a pillar in your business that's going to generate some revenue, you might want to rethink why you're going into AI. Certainly, it's going to save you on all of the costs initially, right? Long term strategy. So here it is right here. So generative AI could unlock a $23.5 billion. So I'm like, how do you unlock that exactly? What do you create exactly? So I've been looking at healthcare. So I'm going to take y'all to the healthcare portion a little bit and we can talk about that. But before I do, I'm going to go back to Kay. Go ahead, Kay.
Yeah. So, is it Jesus or Jesus? But like you mentioned, mental stability, and then everything you mentioned AI. I was thinking AI plus mental stability equals perfection.
Well, it's either or in regards to my name because I don't mind either way. But part of what makes us unique it's our imperfections. Like part of what makes us special is what makes us different. So I don't think of the mental stability like being combined with AI because at that point it's really more of a what's really in control. Is it the person or is it the technology that's in control, right? So I believe personally it's that strive to be better than we were yesterday that makes our humanity even stronger than the technology because we're able to reflect on our actions and actually have empathetic emotions towards our own mistakes and towards the mistakes and the errors of other people. So I wouldn't say that AI with, the mental stability would equal perfection because if we're perfect, then what would be the point, right? So I do think that we're stronger as a humanity because of our imperfections than combining those two.
Wow.
All right, but I'm still here. Hopefully, it hasn't shut off completely. But if it has, I do apologize because I'm still streaming. So, for my listeners, my phone did a complete and utter shutdown just in the middle of the sentence, just did a complete and utter shutdown. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So at this point, I'm taking a few minutes and my phone is rebooting right now. And then I will go ahead and I will continue to teach from here. I cannot believe that just happened. It just faded. AI, it just went slow and shut everything down on my phone. And this is, wow, really interesting. So everything's loading again, everything's getting settled. So I'm glad that I'm streaming here, so at least I haven't left you all in the dark as to what's taking place. Early this morning, about 5 o'clock, yes. My phone went through an update this morning at 5 o'clock, so I saw the update happen. But for my whole entire phone, so maybe from this Twitter update, it has control. It shuts my phone down in the middle of whatever I'm talking about. So that was interesting. But neither here nor there. I am coming, and if it's closed, I'll just start a new one. So, but first things first, I got to find where I am. And I am back.
Yeah, I need to get. I want to get into the chat GPT space here.
Hi, y'all. Did y'all hear any of that? That worked. Okay, that's cool. No problem. Thank y'all so much. My whole phone died. Reset everything. So I'm glad that I was streaming. So just so you know, if your phone dies and resets and shuts down in the middle of a conversation, literally I saw AI just like, well, we're just gonna shut the lights off a little bit. My phone just went completely out. And then I said, really? Let me take a few minutes. I'm sorry, AI is on my phone. Maybe I did something wrong. Got it. So just to make y'all aware, you can always start within that 2 maybe minutes to come back to your space. So thank you so much. Hector, you were saying what now? You were giving some feedback.
No. I was just kind of just moderating here. Really was just kind of listening into what Kay and Heartthrob were speaking about. And yeah, it was just very interesting conversation related to AI and mental health and just I know that there's products being built. In particular, I think one of the things Kay was talking about was Jesus about people that suffer from Alzheimer's, right? Or people that suffer from that, because that particular disease affects my family. I mean, my grandfather had it. Some of my aunts had it. So it's always in the back of my mind, right? I think keeping my mental health, as trying to be as mentally healthy as I can, because when you have a hereditary disease like that, you always think about it in the back of your mind. Like, all right, what am I going to do? To try to prevent that or slow it down. And so when you see these things like Neuralink and all these different products that are going to be addressing those issues, it gives me hope for the future, right? But also concern, right? Because do you want to give up that much control? All right, like your thoughts. I mean, I've seen that they're even building products that can read your mind, right? They can know what's going on in your head, and it's like, okay, that's going a little bit too far. Like, where's the line of ethics? Where does it? Where's that line, right? So I'm curious, what does everybody think about that? All these different things that have been created to address, very real world problems. But what about the invasion of privacy, right? What about that?
Yeah, you bring a good point. Okay, got it. So I'm showing on the post, and I appreciate you asking that. I just want to throw this out there because I'm trying to get you all to look at your forecast, trying to get you to anticipate in your business where artificial intelligence is going to be, right? So Gartner, if you don't know Gartner, I love all of their reports, right? Um, Survey finds 79% of corporate strategists see AI and analytics as critical to their success. So the analytics are very, very critical. And the last piece is tokenization. So AIC. So now how NFTs and tokenization will disrupt tomorrow's economy. So Hector, we are a real estate brokerage, right? And so part of real estate, we're powered by Keller Williams, Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, right? So because we're powered by Keller Williams, Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, we have access to physical real estate. So now Based on this, it says how NFTs and tokenizations will disrupt tomorrow's economy. So, tokenizing physical assets. This just came out 5 hours ago, and a new, I'm starting to understand the new a little better, kind of how it's style of writing and stuff like that. So, and by the way, I'm on LinkedIn, and this is kind of I'm sharing with you some of the articles that I read, thoughts that I've had, and people that I follow to show you how LinkedIn historically has been where the Fortune 2000 reside, right? Fortune 2000 companies. So these are your company, these are your world leaders, and they tend to have a social media platform called LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is kind of where the professionals, from the aspect of Web 2 in real life, kind of reside and work together, right? So LinkedIn, people ask me a lot of time, is Web3 on LinkedIn? Is Web3 on LinkedIn? Well, based on what I'm sharing with you all, you answer that question because I would say absolutely yes. Web3 is on LinkedIn. So what does that mean? It's all again, it's another way for you to pay attention to what enterprises are doing and what value you may be able to add or create for yourself, your swim lane. Okay, go ahead.
Oh shoot. Sorry, I forgot my hand was up. Yo, shoot. Rewind. Yeah, sorry, I was working on Twitter. What were the key words, the buzzwords? There was a lot. There was a lot. No. Wow. Sorry. Sorry. No, I got lost here. I got lost here.
It happens, Kay. You're in the room with geniuses. So when the flow happens, the flow happens. You heard Jesus, you heard Heartthrob, you heard Chimp, you heard Mr. G. Like this is the genius room. So really, really cool.
Facts. But like, we were talking about what?
AI
Right, yeah. Okay,
and
so
forecasting your AI, your business. Do you have a business, Kay?
oh, geez, my business just be social media platforms. But like, you mentioned Neuralink chopping me, chopping verse, and man, what did they be doing in the Neuralink? And my cat just got away. What the heck? Where are you going?
Hector, he was asking about Neuralink.
Oh no, yeah, I didn't catch that. No, well, I know Neuralink is a product that's being created. I think Musk owns it. It's supposed to help paraplegics walk again, but it's also promised with treating, mental health conditions or mental health diseases, in particular with, Alzheimer's, right, and dementia. So it's and someone can correct me, but it's supposed to. It actually helps them be to help them remember and so, but also what they're saying with that technology is that it has the capability to essentially read your mind, right? Like it can really read what you're thinking about. So there's always that fear of okay, once these chips are implanted in us, which it can happen, right? Maybe not in our generation, but future generations. How does that look like? I know you're sacrificing health for privacy, but so yeah, and artificial intelligence plays a role in that as well. So yeah, I mean, I do see a future where artificial intelligence is going to be able to cure a lot of the diseases that we weren't able to cure. So hopefully, things like cancer and other diseases we're not going to be as affected because the AIs are going to figure out a cure for it, right? Or they're going to help us figure out how to cure these diseases. So yeah, that's also another interesting topic about AI is the advancement of medicine, right? You can anticipate within the next couple of years, that the AIs are going to know how to cure a lot of these diseases that we've been, desperately trying to cure. So I do see that we're going to see a great advancement in medical, in the next couple of years. So that's going to be very, very interesting.
Absolutely. So I'm glad that we had the opportunity to really talk through a little bit about Neuralink, but there's so much to unpack when it comes to artificial intelligence. I'm just going through right now, and we started talking about mental health, right? So, and I saw mental health change agents, excuse me, advocates and motivation. So, and this was when you choose not to give up, a remarkable transformation takes place. The path you tread becomes a testament to your unwavering resolve and unyielding spirit. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. So there's an alligator chasing this animal and they're in the water. So I'm just showing this video to you all from Shayna Potter, who did a really good job highlighting Rashalant Islam and how mental health, you just got to keep going, right? So, good morning, Swapper. How are you?
Good morning, geniuses. I'm doing all right. I hope you are as well. I'm feeling a little bit lighter at heart today. It's a beautiful day in the city of Nairobi. I'm not sure which city you guys are from, but drop it below this Twitter space. Let's become that family. I want to toss my hand in and disagree with Hector. We have to agree to disagree. Let me tell you this, Hector. I know the government. I know tech. You know the government. You know tech. And you know for sure that it's good health. It's detecting cancer. That is the sale. That is not what they're after. Because if that was truly the intention, why are they killing herbalists? Why are they killing individuals and silencing individuals who are all about the organic remedy? Why are those who are against pharma getting silenced? Is the only cure for these diseases getting a chip in your body? My friend, that by itself just makes me highly suspicious. We all know they've made promises that they've broken. We all know that they have ill malice and agendas that are beyond what we can surface as a human species, because it's in our DNA to love each other. That's the ultimate law. But these guys seem to be extremely paranoid. Control is the name of the game. And once you have a chip in your body, my friend, are you willing to trust that that chip is going to be used for detecting cancer? Truly, we're going to ask that question. You feel me? Because I know of people who've cured AIDS. AIDS, the disease which is apparently incurable, through leaves. Leaves provided to us by God, by nature. And guess what happened to them? They get zipped up. All of a sudden, I'm supposed to have Neuralink in my arm, in my leg, in my butt. They're going to put it anywhere and everywhere, sending me good health. And for that very reason, I'm on the sidelines. Because good health is them stopping GMO. Good health is them stopping manufactured goods. And it's for them to promote organic ways of living. But those are against the profit motive. And for that very reason, I don't know if we should trust those who've lied to us before.
Swabber, for that reason, you're out. You are out. Jesus. Yeah.
How am I? No, well, go right ahead, Kay.
Okay, so when I was in the emergency room on the way to the psych ward, I was thinking Neuralink was in me already. That's called AI. Yo, we are AI. We create the artificial intelligence. We can't let that bring us down. Because if we let that bring us down, then who else is gonna bring us down? The aliens? Yo, Swabber, also, I like your profile picture. So freaking fire. Followed you. Motherfucker. You're cool. Nairobi, yo. Nairobi. or however you say it.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've understood your point, Kay. What do you mean you are in an emergency room and you felt as if it's already implanted in you? How did that feel?
Oh gosh, it felt like pain was, so Neuralink is not actually in my body, right? But but like, it was just painful. So like my mind was separated from my body, and everything from my plantar fasciitis to my herniated disc to every muscle in my body, it felt so painful. That's what Neuralink could do to you. That's what I'm saying. Neuralink, it could break you down.
Time to get up!
I'm sorry.
Sorry, y'all. Had to yell.
Just to comment on what you were saying. No, I absolutely
Sorry.
100%. And that's my hesitancy, right? And that's the fundamental question. Because, a lot of, like you said eloquently, there are, cures for the diseases already, right, in nature. I mean, there's countless examples of individuals who came up with the cures for a lot of these diseases that we're experiencing that, are no longer here because big pharma or tragedy happened. So I'm very wary about that. I personally wouldn't implant anything in my body. I do believe with proper diet, and good lifestyle choices, you can live a, long life, healthy life. And so, yeah, I mean, I agree with you 1,000% on that. But that's the question, right? Are we going to allow, this, maybe, our generation are likely not going to, we're going to be resistant to that type of change, but future generations, how are they going to react to that, the idea of implanting a chip or, using Neuralink or a lot of these things that are being created right now. That's a fundamental question we have to ask ourselves. Do we allow, at what point do we say enough is enough? But, it is very complex. There's a lot that goes with it. I think, ultimately there's going to have to be a change of consciousness, right? Change of mind. People are going to have to, at least now, or at least, our generation, we're not going to allow something like that. But future generations might be more open to that type of, product or using Neuralink. So it's interesting. I mean, I wouldn't say it's interesting. It's concerning. It's very concerning because, when I was younger, we used to talk about these kind of things. Oh, in the future, everyone's going to have a chip. Well, the chip is here. and it's something that I might see in my lifetime, right? So it's concerning, because you don't want, I personally wouldn't want to give anyone that type of control of my body, right? But it's disguised under the humanitarian efforts, right? Say, oh, you put this in your body, you're going to be perfectly healthy, everything's going to be all right. Well, no, I mean, if you just do proper exercise, proper diet, you're going to be just as fine without having to give up, so much control. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the pressing questions. I think the most important questions we have to ask ourselves today.
I love the conversation that we're having, everybody. I went ahead and on the screen to share a couple different things with you. I'm going to show you all kinds of stuff that I read, I go through, I try to understand from a quantum, from an analytics, from IoT. That has to do Internet of Things, that has to do with the future of technology. So you'll notice that, and Denise, she comes into our spaces all the time. So wonderful mentee that we should support. So here's another thing that I wanted to show you all for opportunity. So here we are. I love Evan. Evan, I haven't seen him in a while. We're going to have to talk to Evan. But when you start to look at, and if you're looking at the screen, KPMG and Microsoft. So I'm sitting here like, wait a minute. Now, I remember KPMG, Mr. G, from way back when, right? I'm like, oh, they're consultancy, but they're niched in this. Wait a minute. Our KPMG is like Mr. G. He's niched over here. And then we have some other folks. So KPMG does advisory expertise to empower employees and unlock insights for customers. Wait a minute. They need the genius room part of this, Mr. G. So Mr. G in Microsoft, or the genius room in Microsoft, or do you get it, Mr. G? So this is right in our swim lane. This is an opportunity. So listen, Satya Nadella, I know you might be the CEO of Microsoft and the chairman, by the way. Love you. Love you. Love what y'all doing with that whole Microsoft, but you need the genius room a part of what y'all doing, right? So feel free. This is live. It's broadcast. It's going to be on Twitter. It's also going to be on YouTube. I'm going to send you a note anyway. I'm going to send you a note. Let me follow you first. Hold on. I'm going to follow you. I'm going to send you a note, and we're going to talk how you can leverage the genius room. All right, Microsoft and KPMG, y'all lucky. Y'all got us. All right. Now, moving on. Go ahead, Kay.
My dad, he worked for KPMG. I don't know what they'd be doing now, but he got laid off during the recession from KPMG. But I just charged my iPhone, so I'm wondering, because if it dies, what did you say about it dying and then you can resuscitate it or something?
Yeah. So my phone just literally did we're closing the curtains, are very slow. The graphics, everything just shut down. And I was like, wait a minute, you see I'm talking those, where you going? And it disappeared. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. So let me see. I'm racing against the clock. So that will cause some anxiety because now my Apple pops up and it has to go through slowly. Right. And then I'm like, okay, hopefully I can get to the room. The room was still going, even though I was disconnected. So to come back.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. Oh, yeah, you could reconnect to the space with the co-host, probably.
Right. I was the host, though.
Right. You're the host, but your phone dies, but you're still, because this happens to me when I try to host a space and nobody joins. Well, but I think if you log out the app, you're still able to reconnect to the space, and then you got your space back. Yo, that's called KPM. Just kidding. But KPMG, though, what they be doing?
So what I was referencing here, they're consulting and tax advisory, and they're partnering with Microsoft to do more internal support, it appears, with their employees and customers, right? So in corporations, you have internal customers and you have external customers. So you have to consult because we're transitioning. We're in a paradigm shift, a major paradigm shift. So there are some things that has to take place, and there's coaches and mentors and partners that have to come in and kind of help to implement some of these strategic changes that companies want to do. That's what KPMG does.
Okay, so I just searched them up. They're doing generative AI. Is that website?
Yes. Did you see that? Did you see that? Yes.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh my God.
So it's enter a landmark agreement to put AI at the forefront of professional services. Remember, so and this is whenever, in my opinion, right? Whenever I see paradigm shifts and major transitions, mass adoptions happens initially through enterprises, through universities, and some of big places, right? Big companies. So I and that's why I keep referring y'all back to, if you don't have a relationship with LinkedIn, and I explained to you all earlier what LinkedIn was in a Web 2 type of way, then because it gives you clear indicators is here's a strategy that you can implement. Here's a strategy, or here's a partnership that's newly formed that to put AI at the forefront of professional services. Do you not think my email box is going? I'm sending out emails, and I have one connect that I'm thinking might be the right one. So I hope that answers some of your questions regarding the why, where we are in artificial intelligence. But also, I was going to take you to this again. I just want to go over to augmented reality on the screen and just talk to you about the experiences that you're creating. So those 3D assets, do you have somewhere that you're storing your 3D assets? So you'll notice some of my assets, like this one right here. I created in spatial. Um, when did I create this? Probably when I want to say maybe April, May of 2022. I created this particular. I can add my metadata in there, my targets, specific, and use this as marketing, right? And so this goes into your metaverse. This goes into experiences. So I envision one day the Genius Room will go to Starbucks, right? And inside the brick wall of Starbucks that you can't see, but you point, and all of a sudden there's an encrypted message inside the brick wall for you, geniuses. And it's from the Genius Room. I can deploy them right from here. Anywhere in the world, I can deploy based on longitude and latitude. I can deploy these assets immediately to you all. Okay. So here's my Eiffel Tower. And what's really nice is if you want to see my Eiffel Tower, this is where I always get in trouble. If you want to see you would just scan my QR code and all of a sudden my Eiffel Tower would appear right there in front of you, like right now. So taking you into artificial intelligence, showing you some of the ways that you're going to be creative in the future in creating these immersive opportunities. Can you build a business leveraging artificial intelligence and adding augmented reality to it? You certainly can. Seeing editors, my locations, anywhere in the world. So I can decide if I want North America, South America, Europe, Asia, and then I'm able to say, I'm gonna surprise everybody in the U.S. and I'm gonna send them I don't know, just a Genius Room beacon sign, right? I know y'all like, really, Yaeunda? I'm like, yeah, I really think that the Genius Room needs to have this sign, like a Batman sign. Go ahead, Kay.
Yeah, sorry, I was just lifting up my window. So okay, LinkedIn is where it's at. So I'm gonna change my profile picture on LinkedIn to the picture of me and the love of my life in the profile picture. Is that a good idea or no?
That's fine.
Yeah, because he kind of blocks me and ghosted me on everything. It's like unidirectional communication between me and him. So if this is the way I have to reach him, Rocket Reach or LinkedIn, I swear, I'm gonna get you. I know where you live. I know where your mom lives. I'm sorry.
So as you can see, I'm so much to build a business. You just have to have a strategy around your business. Right. And then you have to have kind of ethics around how AI is going to operate in your business as well. Right. So there's levels to this. So in the past, when you put together SOP, standard operating procedures, I just finished one SOP and now I'm just finishing up the 11th hour on a pitch deck and I'll be all set. Whew, yes, it's busy, it's busy, it's busy. You all, I'm going to start the round robin. But before I do, I'm going to go to Jesus.
Thank you. Can you guys still hear me?
I can.
Okay. So what I wanted to add was in regards to, for example, AI and businesses, and it's not of, we a business or, or what, how can we put AI within the business model to one, help our customers or help our processes, but it's more of the also implementation of the technology, because you can use it on the front end, you can use AI on the back, just like you can with every industry model out there, right? It just really depends on how integrated do you want it to be. And even if you are not looking to be a business owner, but you rather want to be able to be ready for the shift in careers, based on automation and other industries that are going to be utilizing AI for their customer service, which is going to dramatically save them money because now they're not going to need as many agents on the actual phones, but they can have specialized reps on there, right? So it's going to be taking some jobs away, but it's going to be creating other jobs. So it's not just about if you're a business owner, you can apply AI. It's also for workers, because if you're able to learn how to be a prompt engineer, especially right now when it's so early that there isn't a way for you to get, a certification of AI by a major, whether it's a vocational school or whether whatever. If you're able to actually have hands-on practice being a prompt engineer, you're securing yourself a position in a job with a company down the line in the event that your current position becomes obsolete because of AI. So I would just assure it, and I'll use this as part of my round robin, since I know, Yaeunda, you're about to start that. I would say, don't be scared of AI, because if either A, you're going to be a business owner, you can implement AI to facilitate processes and provide better customer experience and lower cost. And if you're a worker, or you don't want to be a business owner, you just want to be, you want to get a check from somebody else, then at that point, you wouldn't hurt yourself by learning how to become or how to be a prompt engineer, which is, in simple terms, is how can you write a script or a prompt to AI for AI to give you what you're actually looking for, right? Whether it's code, whether it's, a conversation like customer service, whether it's a back-end process, like what can you write to the AI that's going to give you the results that you're looking for? That's what a prompt engineer does, right? So you wouldn't hurt yourself by learning how to become a prompt engineer or how to be a better prompt engineer if you're already using AI. Get ready to adapt, because in this world, you either adapt or die. So just start thinking ahead of the game, because this technology is starting to revolutionize multiple industries around the world, because this is a global market. So stay informed, stay updated, and keep on coming to the Talkverses and Yaeunda spaces Mondays.
Like my AIs they acted up this morning. They have control of my restream pod. I'm like, what are y'all doing today? Really? Y'all want to act up because we got company? So AI, yeah, they just shut the screen down. I was like, okay, thank you so much, Jesus, because I appreciate your consistency. I appreciate you coming and talking to the geniuses, especially when it comes to this AI, because there's levels to it. It's uncharted territory. And when you're building that business, don't build by yourself. Try and build with somebody. Have a build partner. Thank you, Jesus. You're awesome. Okay.
Honestly though, thank you, Jesus/Jesus. Jesus, I hope you follow me back, because I really want to see more of your tweets. Just kidding. You don't have to follow me. But Jesus, I mean, Jesus, literally Jesus, but also Jesus. I want to be a prompt engineer. I'm switching accents right now. Okay, I want to be a prompt engineer, but so I go to a school on the West Coast in California. Okay, that's all I'm saying. How do I become a prompt engineer? Like, what classes do I gotta get?
So it's not about just getting access, and I'll give you the perfect example of, or at least my version of a perfect example on how to become a prompt engineer, and that would be just by using it. Literally going, even if it's, you don't have the money to invest in GPT-4 or any other AIs that actually cost money, you can use the regular chat GPT. And start playing around with it and start having conversations with it and start trying to navigate certain things depending on what results you want. Oh, I want you to be, I want you to help me with my post. It's going to ask you questions. You're going to interact with it. You're going to figure out what works, what doesn't work, how you should be able to talk to it based on how you think, right? That way it's meant to make your job easier. And the reason that I say not just about going to school and getting a degree, but rather having hands-on practice is because my sister's a producer. She's worked really hard. She now has her own production company. She's in video and audio, like she actually films. She went to school for film. And one of the things that she told me when she stopped going to school was, if I would have just, and I'm speaking that is as if I was her because I'm quoting her, she said, if I would have just gotten a level position at Univision, which is actually one of the companies that she worked for, which is a Hispanic channel. It's like saying CBS, or like saying Univision is like one of those brands, right? She goes, if I would have just gotten an entry job position, doing anything, even if it was sweeping the floor, I would have been able to see and would have had more experience than having to go to college and getting a degree and then having no experience and still have to start at the bottom and work my way up, right? Because even if you are an assistant, which is somebody who like gets the producer or the cast or the whoever, oh, you need water, be right back, I'll go get you water. Right? Even if you're one of those people, they actually grow within the company a lot faster than you actually having a degree and then starting your journey in the film industry. Why? Is because you build relationships with the cast members, with crew, with the directors, with the producers. You're building those relationships while at the same time learning in the actual environment. Thing that you would have learned in school, but rather than just having a certificate that says, yeah, I learned it, you actually have hands-on practice and implementing in that industry. And because you've been in that industry and you build those relationships around those people, you have now an easier way to be able to actually work and navigate through that industry. And it works the same way in everything. This is just my opinion. And obviously, there's certain jobs or industries that require you to go to the university. Doctors, lawyers, like those type of professions require it for a reason. But when you're talking about becoming an AI pro, talking about being an administrative assistant, when you're talking about being a producer or a choreographer or a whatever, right? You get more knowledge by actually being the errand boy or the errand girl for the producer, for those big head honchos, than you would do by going to the university and getting a business and arts degree. Why? Because the amount of that you're going to save yourself from incurring, which that's not even good, because at the end of the day, you are getting into a huge debt to be able to get a good paying job so you can pay back your debt for everything that you learned. To me, that doesn't make sense. If you're talking about being a doctor, being a lawyer, those type of professions, then yeah, at that point, I'm not gonna just say, oh well, just go be an intern. You'll learn and figure it out. No, because you need licenses that require that education. But when you're talking about everything else that's available in our scope, whether it's a prompt engineer, whether it's becoming a music engineer, whether it's becoming a producer, whether it's becoming a consultant, whether it's becoming a mentor, like those are things that we're able to learn as we go and don't require that degree to be able to enter that field. And I'll end on that. I'm sorry that I rambled on.
Wow. Word. So Jesus, you got me taking notes and shit. So after my university, I be getting my PhD. I be getting my master's in theological studies. I be doing my shit, and then working on more shit, because that's how we do it.
So welcome, Kay. And it's okay. That's what we do. We're the Genius Room, and we've been here consistently Monday through Friday for over a year, and we're iron sharpens iron. You hear how Jesus just slayed? He just came with it like, okay, I am going to deliver this in a manner, in a way that I'm going to force him to go get his notebook and pen, because we normally tell people at the beginning, you might want to get your notebook and pen because it's going to move fast. But Jesus, woo, that was good. Very, very good. Walking through the trajectory, walking them through how. That's great. And that's what we do as Genius Room. So we're activating, and we want to make sure that we can do that for our members, right, of the Genius Room. If you have questions, you can come as a blank canvas. Don't worry about it. When we're done, you're going to have a clear path based on your values, your mission, and what you want to accomplish. So when you think about, we're mentors, we're business partners, and we are coaches, right? And so every company, and I mean every company, needs coaches inside. Every company needs mentors inside. Okay. And every company is better based on the partnerships. So, and the reason why coaching and mentoring is so important, I don't know about y'all, but managing your emotions, there's so much uncertainty in a whirlwind that's taking place in the employment landscape. The folks that didn't get cut and lose their jobs are sitting there grateful that they didn't lose their jobs, but at the same time, they're worried about, could they be next? As a coach, how do you get the best performance out of a person when they're afraid, when they're scared? And if companies aren't identifying that not the leftover, yeah, I guess it's the leftover remorse. I know that y'all like leftover remorse, Yaeunda. What you talking about? I mean, yeah, I didn't get the layoff. I didn't get fired. I'm still here. But now I'm still here where there may have been 75% more people. Now there's only this 25%. And we all, this 25%, we have to maximize, we have to leverage. Oh my goodness. So understanding managing emotions. Jobs is nothing else. Get coaches that can help you with managing the emotions of your internal customers and your external customers, right? So because there's a way in delivery. Now, you're not going to talk to me like I'm a baby boomer and a mature. That's just not going to happen because my mindset is different. I'm not going to talk to you like you're a millennial because you're a Gen X. So there's some conversation that has to take place around how do you coexist in this space. I wanted to point y'all. Go ahead, Kay.
Word. Yo, I be pinning these tweets because these be my notes. Because they be my notes. Yeah, we take those notes and we bring that up to the next level, to the tangible.
Absolutely. And your voice is also your note, right? So elevate your voice and get with like-minded individuals. So I'm a close on this as I continue to go through the round robin. On my screen, I wanted you all to see, I'm here in the United States. So here in the US, I look at Mexico, 15 hours ago, Mexico passes China in US trade. So in my head, yeah, right? In my head, what impact does that have if you live in the United States? And I'm just going to give you this first line right here. I'm not going to show y'all nothing else. Reduced trade with China could mean higher costs for the U.S. consumer. Okay. Higher costs means you're going to pay more for it, perhaps, unless companies decide they're going to have slimmer margins. I'm just saying, right? Okay. And don't start. Now, you knowing that you may have a higher cost as a consumer to be able to buy things that you're going to need, Okay, as a consumer, your business may consume some products, so you have to anticipate a forecast of paying higher prices based on where you're sourcing from. Y'all, I'm talking to you about artificial intelligence and how it can help you all. I'm talking to you about the business acumen to be able to see the indicators of opportunity where you can add value. These are just areas in which your superpowers are needed. So I love y'all. Let's start this round robin. So I know, Mr. Chimp, are you still up? Okay. Hey, you know your people, what? Heartthrob.
What a great conversation. And definitely, I'm getting that list together for you, Kay, so I can message it to you in a clean-cut manner. But, you know, you got to be careful with some of these large language models that you're using, because there is this AI out there called Poison GPT, which is designed to put false information into GPT programs. So make sure when you are using it, you are using it from the official source. So, you know, they always say, check your links, make sure you know exactly what you're clicking on, because something that goes on and all over the internet, you know, scams and dishonest people doing whatever they do. So, you know, I'm here to help you. Really, I've got low-cost solutions to a lot of problems, because that's the area I focus in more often than not. And as always, I want to remind you that your time is the most valuable asset that you'll ever own. And I, Heartthrob, want to personally thank each and every one of you for investing your time here today. I want you to know that I love you and I hear you. Let's connect.
Love it, Heartthrob. Thank you so much for that. I'm glad that you're always giving us alpha and making us aware of some areas that could harm us, right? So that poison, thank you so much for telling us about that. I appreciate that. Jesus, did you have anything additional you want to add to your wrap up before I move on to Mr. G?
That was all, Yaeunda. Thank you guys for having this spaces. And for anybody who just came in or who's going to listen to this after the fact, please do not buy or sell anything based on what we say or write. This is our personal opinion on technology that is evolving at such a rapid pace. So do not take anything that we say as financial or legal advice, just because we're not financial advisors, we're not legal experts. And even if there is a lawyer present, there's certain protocols that need to be in place for them to have a lawyer customer relationship where they're like, nope, that's we cannot talk about that. So just be careful, stay safe, keep yourself informed, as we will continue to do so for ourselves. And I say that because with this technology, because it's evolving so fast, you have to stay ahead of the curve. You have to continue to learn with the new practices that are coming out. Stay safe, everybody.
Thank you. And you're right, Jesus. This presentation is to help you be enlightened as to areas in which you want to navigate. You're right. We strongly encourage everyone who's listening to do your own due diligence, right? And if you don't know how to do due diligence, right? Some people say, you always say due diligence. Well, what does that look like to do due diligence? I'm like, oh, okay, good point. So like yesterday, I took Hector through an exercise on due diligence. Like we're all over the place in our due diligence, and it takes time. You have to put time into researching what you hear and the people you hear it from. Facts. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I appreciate what you said. Mr. G, what you have for us?
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're coming from, ladies ladies and gentlemen. So what are we talking about today? AI, artificial intelligence, monetizing. Well, for me personally, ChatGPT came along. I said, you're hired. Bard came along. I said, you're hired. You got to picture yourself, even if you don't own a business, as a business. Hire these free AIs. They spent millions of dollars creating them. Claudia 2 came out the other day. I said, you're hired. So I am diving deep as an educator because I would like to share this with educators, talking about, occupations. A teacher that is not utilizing the new AI, they're going to be out of date. They're going to be antiquated. They're going to be not useful in the classroom or to students. So that's what I'm trying to do. If you need help in trying to do that, reach out to the Genius Room. We are here to help you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. G. And you're absolutely right. We are here to help you. We're activating this weekend. We're definitely having a meeting. If you can attend, by all means, you want to be in that room, right? So I love what you're doing, Mr. G. I really do appreciate your support. I love the fact that you keep us safe and thinking about taxation. You think about our future financial acumen, financial responsibility, and you teach the whole, like you can teach my kids or you can teach the kids' parents, like you have that. I love what you're doing. And then the insurance piece to it, Mr. G. Oh my gosh. I ran an insurance program for a retailer, Mr. G. So the sky's the limit. Like Geniuses, we are full of solutions inside of the Genius Room. You just have to take the first step. We are activating on the Zentarius platform. Is it? He's not here. So anyway, so that's what we're planning to migrate to is the Zentarius platform. I know he's been working very hard to produce some. The platform is already amazing. Okay, already amazing. So thank you so much, Mr. G. And just kind of explaining all the like housekeeping rules and everything to folks, right? Because we are a business. And as you saw, there are billions of dollars out there, right? And do we need billions of dollars? Do we need millions of dollars, right? You have to decide what your needs are. And you can't chase the shiny pennies. You have to get in your swim lane and work with us as a Genius Room. We're iron sharpening iron. We're better together than we are separate and apart. And the hardest opportunity is that, is getting people to, activate and say, okay, well, I got to trust somebody. I really got to trust. And I trust you all, geniuses. I trust the Genius Room, and I love y'all. I want to head over to my friend. You've been waiting so patient, Biba. Thank you so much. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. It's okay. I was gonna talk in about what you guys were speaking about, but you guys are giving a lot of good information. I just loved listening here. I had a question, but I don't know how you guys go ahead with it. Like free platforms, free AI platforms, don't they? Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't they collect information from us, like from what prompts we use and that kind of information?
Yes.
And if that's the case, how can we protect ourselves as a user? Yeah, hey, go ahead.
Right, that's a big question.
That's a great question. So when you read free, right? So when I go to platforms, it's in the terms and conditions. It takes a minute because we're excited sometimes and we just want to get in there. But inside terms and conditions will tell you what exactly is taking place with your data. Or it may be in their privacy settings, like what their privacy statement is, right? And so it'll tell you again. So what I've noticed now is that you have I'm seeing partial acceptance of the cookies or full acceptance of the cookies when it comes to the privacy. And I've seen that on a couple different websites. So you have to understand that it's a partnership when you are going on platforms, and you have to understand how the operations, the standard operating procedures of that company and your use, what the expectations are. In addition to, can you get a copy of your data? and ask those questions if you can or can't. And then from your data, once you have your data or the information that they're saving from you, where are you going to put it? Do you have a private place where you can store your data? And that's what they say.
That private place, do you mean like Google Excel or I'm sorry, I don't understand.
So you have public places and you have private places. You have public storage and you have private storage. So my private storage, so I used to pay for my telephone number not to be listed in the phone book because I wanted to maintain my privacy. I paid a premium for my privacy, but I don't have to pay anything in the phone book if my number is public and everybody can see it, right? So I pay for that privacy so people don't have access to me as much because I have privacy on my telephone in the phone book. So same thing stands true when you think of privacy, right? There's a difference in, I have a private network that I store my data in. So I have a partnership with this private, I have a private membership, and I pay to make sure that my stuff is private and kept and that nobody has access to it. It's my data. So the only person that has access to it would be the platform that I pulled it from. And if I go through and I ask them to delete and I shut everything down, then they're still not allowed to keep my data. So it's understanding your relationship with your platforms. Am I making sense to you? Or did I make it too
No, yeah, it sounds good. So like, I've also seen like there are like cloud platforms where you can control your like what you're uploading on the drive. So I think that also falls suit with what you're saying, right?
You can do cloud or you can do hardware, yes. So if you do a cloud recall, then that's basically you're virtually storing your data. If you decide that you're going to do a hard drive, then you're pulling it off of your hardware. And if you decide that you're going to do a thumb drive or a jump drive, that's still external storage. So it's a matter of, again, I go get my data off of platforms. And then when I take my data off my platforms, I then upload it into two places. One is on my PC, but it's also in the cloud under a private network.
Sounds good. Thank you for answering.
I mean, absolutely. I didn't want to get too wordy. It's just, it is very simple for me because I thought it would be really cool at the beginning when I came and I started talking to myself because one, I didn't have any friends. So in the beginning I came and I didn't have any friends in Web3 that I can talk to. And so my family were looking at me like, what is she talking about? And I'm like, I know I'm not the only one. So let me come on here and just start talking to myself about the metaverse, Web3, and some of the innovations because I've been activated in my head somehow. So I started pouring it out, and here we are, almost a year and a half later, and we're the genius room. So it's really about this technology and being able to navigate through it. It's uncertainty, but you just keep going. So the privacy is now we have a community of geniuses. Well, geniuses, you have data everywhere. So let me teach you how to go get your data from your healthcare systems, right? So your public health records, your PHR charts. So ask them for a copy of your data. Can you get that on my thumb drive? Some of them will say, well, you need a thumb drive. Right now it's back to school time here in the US. Thumb drives are inexpensive. Go. I tear away the obstacles as much as I possibly can, right? So your data. And I'm like, oh, well, we have depends on the day, depends on the time, and depends on the marketing and all that type of stuff. We can have anywhere from 100, 200, depending upon if I'm speaking 18,000, give or take, right? So from that, imagine all of us own our data, from our healthcare data to my car data, because there's a computer chip, a code scan reader. I did time in automotive, y'all, right? And that's part of being when you run a company and you do almost $1 billion in annualized sales year over year. You have to understand it in a retail environment. I'm sharing this all with y'all to say, really, the sky's the limit. But when you own your data, I really feel like that's the true money right there is data. Data is the new gold. Data is the new mind. Data is everything. Data. Data about you. You are the product. You're the product that companies want to convert. Hey, Sheila, how are you?
Morning, everybody. I must have did it again, huh? Oh gosh, this is so funny to me. Well, I know this is like the round robin time. So what I will say from listening to the conversation today, one of the things that you guys were talking about in regards to
Thank you. We're about to shut down and do Chloe.
Artificial intelligence, you know,